Hey scholars, welcome to chapter 6. We're looking at the human population and its impact. Last chapter in chapter 5 we were talking about a couple of different types of populations and how they interact and how species interact. Now we're looking at the human population, bringing it kind of full circle all the way back to us. So in your case study, we're looking at, are there too many of us? And it's estimated that there is a 2.4 billion more people by 2050, which we already have 7 billion. So that's 9.4 billion people by 2050. Can the Earth handle that, or are we already kind of overpopulated as it is? Some people think that technological advances will help us overcome our environmental resistance that our population faces, and that we'll still be able to thrive even in 2050 with that amount of people. But how are we going to control populations, or should populations be controlled? We're going to investigate that. We're also going to talk about what China has done in their population control methods, as well as India, and we'll compare that to other countries around the world as well. Also in the case study, it talks about, are there too many of us? Will populations cause increased environmental stresses, not only to the environment but to us too? More infectious diseases spreading throughout the ecosystems as well as our population. Biodiversity loss because of habitat destruction, water shortages because of just overutilization of water, overusage of water, and not really purifying the water afterwards. Traffic congestions, pollution of the seas because we don't know where else to put our pollution, especially as more people grow, causing more environmental pollution. Climate change, all those things, will those all increase because of growing populations? We're going to investigate that through this chapter. So 6.1, how many people can the Earth actually support? That's what we're going to kind of take a look at. It literally, we looked at this through our carrying capacity, we looked at it through when you guys did your eco footprint, but we're going to reflect back upon that today. So the human population growth continues, but it's really unevenly distributed. We've had, I think on the video that we saw on National Geographic 7 billion, that literally everybody in the world could fit in the state of California if they were like arm's length distance apart. So we know that the world can hold all of us. It's just how many, we were really unevenly distributed because of different climates and a number of different things. So how, that might be one of our issues. Reason for human population increases is that we are moving into new habitats and climate zones. Early and modern agricultural methods have led to increased food production, which allows for more people to be fed. To the control of infectious diseases through sanitation systems, antibiotics, vaccines, better medications, allowing us to live longer as well. So those things have really helped with the population increase as far as our abilities to adjust to new habitats, climates, ecosystems, our better food production as far as amount of food produced, and also our better sanitation and vaccinations and leading to better health care. Also, population growth in developing countries is increasing actually 15 times faster than in developed countries. And I think by 2050, 97% of the growth will actually be in developing countries, which is kind of astounding. We always think we're growing, really fast right here in the United States, but really it's happening elsewhere too, even more so. Should the optimum sustainable population be based on cultural carrying capacity? And what that means is, like, in different areas of the world, cultural carrying capacity is based on the culture. Like some places, it's normal to have 9 kids. It's normal to have a huge, family. Other places, it's not. So we're looking at, a sustainable population should be based on the different cultures, and whose culture should we base it off of? So kind of just a number of different questions based on our population growth. This is what the global connections, the UN world population projects us by 2050. It could be somewhere even as high as 10.8 if we continue growing at the current rate. It could be somewhere in the medium, like 9.3, which is what they usually predict, or even could go lower, 7.8, if we get a number of our populations, our growing populations, kind of under control and limit their growth. So it just depends on where we are by another 20 years, 25 years or so, 30 years actually. Science focus. How long can the human population keep growing? Well, there's a guy by the name of Thomas Malthus, who actually was an economist. He also was looking at population growth and judging that. In 1798, he figured out that humans had already altered 83% of the Earth's land surface. And so he kind of said that, no, we're probably not going to continue to grow like we are in that point of time period. And so they kind of figured out there is eventually going to reach carrying capacity. So can the human population grow indefinitely? The answer is probably not. We know that all populations reach some sort of carrying capacity, and therefore the human population won't either, or won't continue to grow either. It'll reach carrying capacity. So here's some things of natural capital degradation. How have we altered our nature to meet our own needs? And these are all negatives usually. Reduction of biodiversity because of monoculturing crops and habitat loss. Increasing use of the Earth's net primary productivity, which is harvesting for plants for food. Increasing genetic resistance of pest species and disease-causing bacteria by use of hand sanitizers, overuse of antibiotics, etc. Elimination of many natural predators because of overhunting or fear. Introduction of potently harmful species into communities, like invasive species, which we'll talk about in a few chapters, which actually outcompeted or outdid the competition as far as the native species. Using some renewable resources faster than they can be replenished, which kind of goes without saying. We've been doing that for a while. Interfering with the Earth's chemical cycles, energy flow as well, and rely mostly on polluting and climate-changing fossil fuels for our energy resources. So those are the biggest ones that we've done to degrade our alternate